Okay, very good job. Number one, if I was tapping along with my tap tempo feature on the metronome correctly, sounds like you got to at least 240 there. So this is something to keep in mind with this eighth note strumming material we're doing. If you reach 240, like so when you're practicing during the week, as soon as you go to attempt 240 for the first time, start recording because you might get it. And if you're able to work this thing up, any of this stuff to 240 in less than a week, send it over early. Let's see if you actually got it. Because, yeah, if you're doing that, then we can just move on to new stuff sooner. Now, I may not be able to make a video early, but I can at least let you know, like, yep. So let's say you get number one, like this week, up to 240, but not number two. So I'll just say, well, you finish number one, keep working on number two until you get that to 240. And if you don't get to that speed, that's okay. Just get to where you can. But I feel like if you're getting to, again, 240, I mean, and you're doing it right, you're good on that. You don't need to do it anymore. Time to move on to the next thing. So I think number two wasn't quite there, which is fine. I think that was like around 200 maybe. But yeah, so, and then your question about working on pieces of a song you want to learn. I think you asked, do you do it exactly the same way you're doing this stuff? That depends. Do you need to do it that way? Because if you got a piece of a song and you can already play it up to speed, then no, you don't need to work on it like this. Just play it. You're already there. But if you have a part of the song that you're struggling to get down, then yes, working it up like this is a fantastic way to get there. It's very much a contextual kind of thing. It's like, do you need to work it up in order to get it down? Typically, if you can't play the thing at speed, or you're having a hard time just getting the fingering down, maybe a hard time memorizing what it is you need to play, then yes, working it up in the way you've been practicing is a great way to get new things down. I've done it many times, and I'm going to continue to do it because it works well. Very, very well. All right, new thing. So this is actually something from that knowledge little skill test thing, and I'm gonna use this to get into upbeat or upstrum focused material. So this is where things get kind of tricky for a lot of people, and it's tricky because we're not playing on the downbeat every time anymore. So I have the rhythm written out in two different ways. The top line, the first two bars, I feel that's the easiest way of reading it. And then the bottom line, that's probably a more common way of seeing this rhythm. So if you're looking at tabs from the internet, if you're looking at a book or magazine with tabs, it's probably going to look like this in the notation. But mathematically, it's the same thing. So got your quarter note, eighth note, and then an eighth note tied to an eighth note. So an eighth note tied to an eighth note is one quarter note long. So let's compare bar 1 to bar number 3. So comparing 1 to 3. So quarter note, eighth note, eighth note, eighth note tied to an eighth note, which is the same length as one quarter note, eighth note, quarter note, quarter note. So we're going to make sure we strum down on the downbeat, up on the upbeat. So that means you're going to have two upstrokes in a row here. And if I remember correctly from your video when you did this, you were doing just that. Just you had a nice smooth strumming the entire time. So we're going to keep that going here. 60 beats per minute for the new number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 4, 1, 2, and 4, down, up, down, up, down, done. 120. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 4, 1, 2, and 4, down, 1, 2, 3, 4. $2.40. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeats 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, number 2. Similar idea, but now the downbeat of 2 is not being played. So let's compare the first bar to the third bar. So we got your eighth note, eighth note tied to an eighth note, which is the same length as a quarter note. Eighth note to eighth note, and then two quarter notes, two quarter notes. So yeah, as I mentioned, I do feel this is the easier way of reading something like this because it makes it much more, I feel like it's much more easy to see where the downbeats and upbeats are. So here, we can see that's the downbeat. There's your upbeat. Here is the downbeat, which we're not playing anything on. But we can see, yep, that's a downbeat right there. And then there's the upbeat. Here, yeah, again, mathematically, it's the exact same thing in terms of the rhythm. But it's not as easy to read, kind of like read on the fly. Just like look at it and like, boop, you know exactly what it is. It's a little bit more difficult. Takes a bit more memorization, I feel. But yeah, it's the same. All right, so let's play this one. 60. 1 and 3, 4. 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 Done. 120. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 3, 4. 1 and 3, 4. 1 and 3, 4. 1 and 3, 4. Done. 180. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, 240. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeats. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so remember, if you reach 240 before next week, start recording. So when you go to attempt it for the first time, just start recording because you might get it. And if you get it done, get it done in less than a week, send it on over. So this way we can move on sooner. And at the very least, you'll have more time to focus on the songs and stuff that you want to learn. All right, any questions, let me know. I will see you again next week.